Hello everybody, and welcome to the video to set up the TMSair server application. Today you're going to get started basically by taking the USB stick that came with the unit and plugging it into the computer. Once you plug it in, you should get a prompt like this. If not, go down and open up your documents and navigate until you find it. But you should see a folder called New Oil. Once you click on that, you'll see a folder called XAMPP. We're going to want to drag this or copy and paste it and put it on your desktop. Now, depending on your computer, this could take between 5 and 10 minutes to copy over. So I'm going to pause the video here, and I recommend that you pause it as well until it's done copying over, and then we'll proceed to the next step. Okay, now you can see it's copied to the desktop, and we can go ahead and minimize the USB stick. We can open up this folder. So now that we're in the XAMPP folder, you want to go ahead and scroll down until you see the setup_XAMPP. You're going to want to run this one, and you should see this window here pop up. You can see it says 1 refresh now, 2 exit. So go ahead and press 1 and hit enter. Give it a minute to refresh everything. Alright, and you see that it says that it's officially done. Press any key to continue. So you go ahead and close out of that. Now the next step that we're going to do is, this is basically if you've ever ran a server, we're just going to make sure that the services that we're installing aren't currently running. So you're going to want to go down to the taskbar down here and run the task manager. You could also press Control-Alt-Delete. There's a bunch of other ways to get to the screen, but basically once you get to the task manager, move over to services, and we want to make sure that we're sorting alphabetically. So that way we can make this as easy as possible. So the first thing we're looking for is the Apache service. So you can see it's not running currently. And then we want to scroll down to the M and make sure that MySQL isn't running anywhere. If for some reason you do have one of these services running, give us a call at 281-446-7300, and we'll finish helping you through how to fix that problem before we finish the rest of the steps. Okay, so now that we've checked to make sure the services aren't there, what we want to do now is go ahead and get the Windows firewall set up. So to do that, we want to come down to the XAMPP control, and we want to run this as administrator. Alright, so once you run it as administrator, you should see this screen here. What we want to do now is get everything allowed in the Windows firewall. So select Start on Apache. You should get a prompt from the Windows firewall here, and it'll basically ask you to allow it. Go ahead and click Allow. Then hit Start on MySQL, and you should get the same from Windows firewall. Click Allow. Now go ahead and stop both of those services and exit out of the program. So now that we've allowed them into the firewall, made sure that they weren't working, we can go ahead and install them. So that way every time you start the computer, it'll automatically have these services running. So go to the Apache folder, scroll down to Apache Install Service, right click and Run as Administrator. Alright, so now that you've pressed Run as Administrator, you should see this screen here. Go ahead and press any key to continue. Navigate back to the XAMPP folder, scroll down to MySQL. We're going to do the same thing. Find MySQL install service, right click and run as administrator. Alright, once you've ran it as administrator, you should see that same window that you saw for Apache. Go ahead and press any key to continue. And now we have the services installed, so we can go ahead and move on to installing the software. To install the software, we want to go back to the USB drive and go down into the Oil Control Air Setup right here underneath the XAMPP folder. And you're going to want to right click that and run it as an administrator. Then you basically want to follow the prompts through just a basic installation. So select your language. Next, this controls where you want to save it at. I would recommend leaving it at default if you don't have anywhere else that you need. And then just go ahead and select next until you hit install. Once it's installed, you can hit finish and launch it. And this should be the screen that you see. So what you want to do now is we want to go into the database, and then we need to find our IP address. So when you click My IP address, it should open up this window here. We want to go to the IPv4 address. This address here is the address that we need to enter in, so that way it'll function as a server. So 192.168.1.214. Then we want to press connect. Now make sure that what you enter in here is the same thing that you have listed on yours as your IPv4. So you can see I'm entering this number in because it's mine. So press connect, and you can see now we have access to all the functions on the application. Alright, so the next step that we want to do, just in this basic video to get you started, is we want to set up the Wi-Fi on the box so it actually connects to the server that you have on, we've already installed here. So to do that, you want to select Device Configuration, move over to the WLAN tab, select the WLAN tab, and then we have to put in the information for the box to log in with. So the WLAN SSID or network name is basically the same thing that you normally click on to log into Wi-Fi on your phone or on the computer if it's a laptop. So whatever the name is here, as you can see here, ours is TECALEMIT. You want to make sure you input that as the network name. Then for the password, you enter in whatever password you normally put in. Once that's done, you hit save, and it might prompt you to save this somewhere on your computer. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure you navigate to the thumb drive or the USB stick that we gave you and save it in the first folder you see. So when you see new oil, just go ahead and save it in that. Now that it's saved on the USB stick, you want to go ahead and remove that from the computer. Then you want to walk over to wherever your TMSair unit is located, unplug the power from that unit. You want to plug this USB stick in here. We're going to go ahead and put a picture up here so you can see where you should be plugging it in. Once you plug the USB stick in, you can power the unit back on by plugging it back in. You should hear 2 beeps. At that point, you want to unplug the power to the unit again, take the USB stick back out, then plug the unit back in. Now what you want to see to make sure that it's connected to Wi-Fi is you're checking to make sure that you see 2 green lights light up. If for some reason you don't see 2 green lights, you need to come back to this page here that you see. Make sure that your SSID and your password are accurate. And if you want to, you can select show password and confirm that with whoever is handling the IT or the router at your local administration. Essentially, that's everything to set up the TMSair. If you have any questions for us, feel free to contact us and we can help walk you through this. But hopefully this video is a good place to get started. Thank you and have a great day.